Welcome back to Good Morning Antigua Barbuda on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Hope you've been staying tuned and enjoying our program thus far. Quite a bit more in store for you today. And if you have to be mobile, please stay with us on 90.5 on the FM. And of course, it's all about prayer in the nation of Antigua and Barbuda. That is always welcomed. And I have some persons sitting with me this morning. And to my immediate left, it's Pastor Liddy Owens, and she's from the Let's Go Higher Ministry out of Houston, Texas. Also to her left is Quimby Franovich, and her daughter to her left, Autumn Casey, and they're also out of Houston, Texas. And it's all about a prayer meeting that's going to be happening here on the 25th, which is a Wednesday at Rima Life Center on the Dickinson Bay Street. So we'll have all of those details for you. Good morning. How are you ladies this morning?
Good morning.
Wonderful. Okay, wonderful. And of course, I mean, you're no stranger to ABSM Antigua. By now, you're Antiguan. You've been coming here for the past 7 years.
Amen.
So by now, you're Antiguan. Tell us, how did this start for you coming to Antigua and having your church meetings?
Faith called me here. Over 7 years, right at 7 years ago, I visited an island, Tortola, the British Virgin Islands, and I met a lady there named Bridget Huggins, who lives in Antigua. She's from Antigua. And she came back to America with me and stayed in my home for 6 months, and then she said, I'm going to go back home to Antigua. So when you go back, I want to visit Antigua. So that was my first time being on the island. And I came in faith. And while I've been here, I just fell in love with Antigua and the Antiguans. Back in Houston, I make my church jealous because I said, listen, if you all don't treat me right, I've got a family over in Antigua. I love the people there and they love me. And so every year I come, sometimes 2 or 3 times a year, and I just love what the Lord does for me here. It's a land of plenty, if I could say it for me, because what he does in my spirit here, what I'm able to pour out to bless the people here, it is so precious and so divine, and I just love it. 3 years ago, I brought 18 people with me from my ministry, and everybody just fell in love with Antigua. And so I share Antigua around the world because it is home away from home, and I love the people here, and I love what God does here. So I'm back again to do some meetings, and my first meeting is tonight. However, I don't have the address, but you'll give the number how they can reach me. I'm going to be preaching at a Pastor Reggie's church tonight. I don't know the name of it. And then Sunday morning, I'll be preaching at Pastor Glasgow and also Pastor Patsy. But a little bit later on, before we finish the interview, you'll give the number how they can reach me. Then next Wednesday night, I'll be with Pastor Clemens Joseph under the little white tent, I love to say, right there in Dickinson Bay at 7 p.m. So many of you here know my face, and I want you to come out and be with me and just receive what the Lord has sent us to do this time.
Tell us about the church meeting. Is it for a particular faith, or everyone is invited to
Everyone is invited. It's a non-denomination. I'm a non-denominational preacher. I preach by the leading of the Lord, and it is for all of God's people.
Okay. And what will be your focus for the meeting?
My focus is going to be on faith, because faith brings change. And I know when I got off the plane today, the driver, who's Clarence Glasgow, he picked me up and he said to me, Pastor Liddy, you came at a very good time. I said, why? He said, we're through with the election.
Yes.
Change has come. We
Yes.
have a new prime minister. And
Yes.
sir, I want to bless you today, and I know that God is going to use you. I've already heard of the changes that you've put into action since you've been in. And so he said to me, we have changed here. And then God, that registered with my spirit to know that I came at a good time, because now I come to bring new changes for the people of God by a spoken word into their spirit that will give them life, along with your new prime minister.
Right. And speaking of faith, that's very important, because I mean, many people don't like change, and even with faith, I mean, sometimes you're going through trials, tribulations, and you're asked to still keep that faith because God is there and He's going to bring you out of it. And sometimes that's hard. What would you say to persons on that note?
I would say that if you're going through hard times, man's extremities is God's opportunity. That's an open door for you to press in, because man's never going to press until trouble comes. And if trouble is on your doorstep, if sickness is there, if lack is there, that is God giving you an opportunity, because He said, if you call on me in the time of trouble, I'm going to show you great and mighty things to come that you know not of. And so we look at our situation and you say, why, God, am I going through this? You're going through to get to. If He brings you to it, He's going to take you through it.
Okay. And it makes you a better person
It
at the
makes you
end of
a
it.
much better person because you learn how to trust the Lord.
Ms. Vranovich, it's your first time in
Yes.
Antigua and Barbuda. What brought you on this trip, or why did you decide to come on this trip?
Well, it's very interesting, actually, talking about faith and having opportunities to activate your faith. About a couple weeks ago, the Lord had put a book in my hands, The Prayer of Jabez. And as I began to read that book, a new level of faith began to rise in me. And I began to pray the prayer over my life. God, that you would expand my territories, that you would bless me indeed, that you would keep your hand upon me, that I may not cause pain and keep me from evil. And as I began to pray that over my life and my business, my ministry, my family, the Lord just began to pour out his blessings on me. And I believe that I took the action and piled it with the faith and just began to say, Lord, here I am, send me. Whatever opportunities that you have for me, I'm willing. And this opportunity just was brought before us just a couple weeks ago. And I said, okay, God, if this is where you're sending us, then I'm ready to go. And we stepped out in faith, and the Lord provided the finances and the incredible opportunity to come here and minister along with Pastor Liddy with Let's Go Higher and meet all the incredible pastors and the people of the island. We're so excited to be here and so excited to experience this incredible place. It's so beautiful. And just to encourage others, the Lord began to expand a ministry within me to share with other people about the prayer of Jabez and really activating your faith and stepping into what God has, that he has so many blessings to pour out on his people. And so my heart is to share that with as many people as I can, that I could be a blessing to everywhere I go.
It seems like, you know, as you're saying, with the focus on faith, that it's very strong, and yours is very strong as well, because
Yes.
I guess that means to just let go, not worry about anything, and step out. As you said, you decided, well, if this is where you're sending me, send me, and he provided the finances and the way. And that's sometimes really difficult to just let go, not be concerned about how I'm going to do this, and just, you know, put your faith out there. But that's very interesting. So you'll be sharing, because you're also one of the speakers at the meeting, so you'll be sharing with the persons in Antigua and Barbuda as well.
Yes. I'm
Okay.
very excited to do that. Absolutely.
And you're going to also be focusing on faith as well.
Absolutely. Yes, because, you know, I believe that the Lord, as we speak and share our testimony and share what God's doing in our lives and speak life into everyone that God's calling, that we can encourage other people to activate their faith, and that our story and our testimonies and what we have to share with the people as we are speaking at the events and the churches, that it would really bless everybody.
Okay. Ms. Casey, welcome to Antigua again. It's also your first time as well. I hope both of you will enjoy Antigua. You're here for 10 days also?
Yeah.
Okay, what will your contributions be to the church meetings?
Well, when I first heard about this opportunity, Pastor Liddy had invited my mom, and I was really excited for her, and we were, you know, working together to help raise money for her. And God lined up an opportunity for me to be a photographer and videographer on this trip, and kind of launch my talents as I've needed to these last few years. And so at first my faith wasn't as strong as Liddy and my mom, but as I get ministered by both of them, my faith rose, and I stepped out. I was having a little difficulty with the money, and God provided. I was just like, okay, God, you take over. And the opportunity came. I had people giving me money and helping me provide money for the island and give back and come see everything that I've never seen before. And, you know, I'm 16, and taking an opportunity just to leap out and do something like this is very rare.
Definitely, and definitely you have to have faith for that as well, as you're saying. So, of course, all of this, as you said, will be videographed and photographed and taken back
Definitely.
to Texas. And you're also part of the Let's Go Higher Ministries as well?
Yes.
Okay.
We work with them, yes.
Okay, excellent. And of course, for the 25th, it starts at 7 p.m. And will there be an offering or anything that will be taken up at that time?
If people have faith, there again, we're going to rely on faith. And the seed that's going to be sowed that night will be for the upbuilding of Pastor Clemens' work there. He's about to launch some new things in that community. And so that is the main reason I'm here, to sow a seed into his work, because I've seen his hand move through the years that I've known him to be a blessing to the people, and mostly to the children. So I've joined my faith with his faith to assist him in building up the temple of the Lord and to expand the work of God there. So there's no demand, but there's opportunity for people to sow a seed to help him with the work. And again, I say I'm going to be tonight at Pastor Reggie's church. I don't know the name of it right now. I can't remember. But it's Pastor Reggie and Clarence Glasgow has the information, and that number, you will give it at the end if they want to follow me while I'm here. And then Sunday morning, I'll be at Pastor Glasgow's and Pastor Patsy's. So we will be moving around the island, and if anybody want to keep up with us, you'll give the number at the end.
But let's say after you've ministered on the 25th or at any of the services, whether tonight or Sunday night, can persons contact you? Would you do like perhaps maybe like a personal counseling or anything of that sort?
Amen. Personal counsel, personal prayer, and even there is some assistance. If someone has an emergency or something on the island, if there's a child that has need of something, or there's a single mom who has need of food in her refrigerator, that's okay to contact me about.
Okay, that's excellent. Any final words, Ms. Casey?
I'm just so blessed to be here. You know, this is a big opportunity for us, and we hope to come back many years and bless the people of this island because they are so kind and so sweet and so beautiful here.
And Ms. Franovich?
Just that the seed that she was saying, that the seed would be planted, we know this is fertile ground, and that where we're from, that everyone that is in our ministry back home, that they will join with us in prayer and begin to just pray over your island and pray over the people here, that God will just reap the harvest here for each one.
Have you had an exchange of perhaps, as you said, Pastor Clement maybe coming in to Texas, or any of our pastors coming?
Pastor Clement has come to Texas at least 4 times and stayed in my home and did meetings at my church. And when he's there in Houston, God has opened up many doors. So yes, there is opportunity if some pastors want to connect with me through the number you will give.
Okay. Any final words?
One other thing I want to say, that if there is a need within the system, the children, we've been able to collect toiletries and school supplies because people know that I come in and out, and I would love to be able to connect with some more pastors here who has children in their churches and their community that have needs. That's the message that I want to get out for sure while I'm here.
And of course, the previous interview that we had with the hospice, where they take care of children with disabilities, she was also speaking of that as well.
Yes.
You know, contributions of toiletries and things like that. So that also would be perhaps an avenue
yes.
that you could look at.
Yes, and I thank you so much for your kindness for having us here today.
Thank you so much for coming in, and I do wish you the very best with your services this evening and on Sunday, and also with your church meeting on the 25th. I do hope that you know, many persons come out and of course receive your prayers on faith, and that faith works. You know, it's really, I mean, I think that's really great. It works, but you know, you really have to let go and put that out there, and that's hard.
Yes,
and I think you know, it's a great focus that you'll be administering to on the 25th. So I do wish you all the very best. Enjoy your country.
Absolutely.
I hope you love it, and I wish you a safe flight home when you're leaving as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's Good Morning Antigua, Barbuda, and as you heard, of course, Pastor Liddy Owens, Quimby Franovich, and Autumn Casey, and they will all be with Pastor Clement Joseph on the 25th, Wednesday, at the Rema Life Center on Dickinson Bay Street for a church meeting, and the focus is Faith Works. And you can contact Pastor Liddy Owens at 720-2632. That's 720-2632. As she said, if there are other pastors or ministers who would like to follow her throughout her journey, she'll be here for 10 days. And of course, also you heard private counseling or prayers. She can also do that with you, or if you're in need and you'd like to speak with her as well, 720-2632. And of course, go on out and be a part of that church meeting on the 25th at the Rema Life Center on the Dickinson Bay Street. Good Morning Antigua, Barbuda. We'll be right back. Do stay with us.
The Honorable Gaston Brown, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda.